You want that V-twin rumble, low-slung style, and long-haul comfort, but not the $25,000 Harley Davidson price tag.
Well, you're in luck. These 7 Japanese cruisers deliver the same attitude and performance for half the cost, and one of them might just be better than any Harley ever built. Number 7. Yamaha Bolt R-Spec. For riders chasing that raw, stripped-down cruiser attitude without shelling out Harley Davidson cash, the Yamaha Bolt R-Spec delivers in every way. It's built to feel like a factory bobber. Clean lines, classic soul, and rock-solid reliability that hits well above its price point.
The Bolt R-Spec is powered by a 942 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin engine that delivers 65 horsepower and 59 pound-feet of torque. That may not sound like muscle bike territory, but in a cruiser that tips the scales at just 542 pounds, it hits hard off the line. The throttle response is immediate thanks to fuel injection, and the torque curve is tuned to give you strong, predictable power at lower revs. Perfect for city riding, backroad cruising, or shooting out of a green light with authority. One of the first things riders notice about the Bolt is its stance. With a low seat height, compact wheelbase, and mid-mounted foot controls, the bike feels planted and controllable at all speeds. The drag-style handlebars push your posture slightly forward, giving you a sense of control and connection to the road. It is a setup that appeals to new riders looking for confidence as well as experienced bikers who want a more visceral, stripped-back ride.
Visually, the Bolt R-Spec hits all the right notes for riders who want the bobber aesthetic. It has that chopped fender, solo seat profile with minimal chrome, and a rugged industrial look. The styling screams urban rebel, and it is often mistaken for a full custom job, until people realize it is straight from the showroom floor. The suspension on the R-Spec is a big upgrade from the standard Bolt. It features twin rear shocks with piggyback reservoirs for better dampening, especially when the road gets rough. Up front, the conventional forks are tuned for comfort without sacrificing control. Together, the setup gives you a ride that stays smooth around town and planted through turns. Whether you're carving up city streets or taking on country curves, the Bolt handles with ease. Stopping power comes from a single front disc brake with a large 12-inch rotor paired with a rear disc for balanced braking performance. While it may not have dual front discs like some larger cruisers, the braking system is reliable and easy to maintain, perfect for riders who want performance without complexity.
When it comes to price, the R-Spec undercuts Harley Davidson's Sportster models by thousands of dollars. In fact, you can often find it priced under $9,000 brand new, depending on dealership inventory and seasonal availability. That kind of affordability makes it one of the smartest buys in the entry-level cruiser space, especially for riders who want a clean, powerful, and good-looking machine without the financial strain.
For the old-school rider who values muscle, simplicity, and undeniable street presence, the Bolt R-Spec brings everything you need and none of the baggage. It is a throwback to what cruising used to be, refined just enough for the modern road. And once you twist that throttle and feel that V-twin surge forward, you will understand why this machine earns its spot on this list.
Now, if you are more about long-distance comfort than urban edge, the next bike on our list turns highways into pure freedom. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're into real cruisers at real prices, there's a lot more ahead.
Number 6. Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Vaquero.
Dreaming of that big full-dress bagger feel, booming fairing, stretched bags, and highway dominance, but without the $30,000 Road Glide CVO price tag? The Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Vaquero brings all that attitude and long-range comfort, minus the Harley Davidson premium. At the heart of the Vaquero is a liquid-cooled 4-stroke 75-degree V-twin engine delivering an impressive 76 horsepower, 107 pound-feet of torque, and a displacement of 1,700 cubic centimeters. These specs are not just numbers, they translate to effortless highway merges, stable touring with a passenger, and long uphill pulls, even with fully loaded saddlebags. This bike does not flinch. Twist the throttle and it answers instantly. No hesitation, no strain. Unlike stripped-down cruisers, the Vicero is built with touring in mind. Its signature frame-mounted front fairing sets the tone, sleek, wide, and aerodynamic. This fairing reduces wind buffeting at high speeds, keeping the rider shielded and stable even during long stretches of open road travel. Unlike fork-mounted fairings that shift with the handlebars, this setup keeps the steering nimble while soaking up wind resistance like a true cross-country machine. Adding to the rider's comfort is an electrically adjustable windshield. With the push of a button, riders can raise or lower the screen to match their height or conditions, something you usually only find on Harley Davidson's top-tier touring bikes, and even then, often as a pricey upgrade. On the Vaquero, it comes standard. The design blends traditional bagger muscle with Japanese precision. You get large, color-matched hard saddlebags that lock securely and sit flush with the bike's flowing lines. They are spacious enough for overnight gear, extra layers, or even tools and camera equipment, without looking bulky or tacked on. And the finish? Clean, aggressive, and unmistakably cruiser. Riders coming from a smaller bike will appreciate the Vaquero's balance. Tipping the scales at 836 pounds, it might sound heavy on paper, but on the road it is planted and composed. The weight is distributed low in the chassis, which keeps it manageable at low speeds and stable during highway cruising. Combine that with a well-tuned suspension and you get a ride that soaks up road imperfections without sacrificing responsiveness in corners. Up front, the Vaquero runs dual 12-inch disc brakes with 4 piston calipers, delivering smooth and confident stopping power. In the rear, a single disc adds extra braking control. Whether you are riding solo, carrying a passenger, or fully loaded with gear, the braking system remains strong and predictable across all conditions. Fuel range is another touring essential where the Vaquero shines. It features a 5.3-gallon tank, giving riders the confidence to stretch out their rides without constant fuel stops. Combine that with solid fuel efficiency and you are looking at serious range, perfect for cross-state trips or weekend escapes. And when it comes to price, the Vaquero puts Harley Davidson on notice. While a Road Glide CVO can start well above $30,000 before options, the Vaquero often comes in well under half that. Brand new, with strong reliability, minimal maintenance needs, and dealer incentives nationwide, it is one of the best values in the full-dress touring class. So if your idea of freedom involves endless highways, thunderous torque, and comfort that lasts mile after mile, this Kawasaki has everything you need. Without the price tag, you do not. Want something lighter, sleeker, and still dripping with cruiser DNA? The next one's for you. Number 5. Honda Shadow Phantom. Owning a cruiser that captures the timeless V-twin rumble, laid-back riding stance, and low-slung American style no longer requires a second mortgage. The Shadow Phantom brings all the soul and swagger of a classic cruiser without the $25,000 Harley Davidson price tag. It is a machine built for riders who want simplicity, style, and that unmistakable cruiser experience, all in a package that is reliable, manageable, and priced within reach. At the center of the Phantom is a liquid-cooled V-twin engine with a displacement of 745 cubic centimeters. It produces 45 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque, making it a well-balanced performer with more than enough grunt for relaxed city riding and open road exploration. The engine's low-end torque is especially satisfying at lower speeds, delivering that smooth pull off the line that cruiser fans crave. It is not a speed demon, but it is not supposed to be. It's about steady, predictable power with the kind of character that never gets old. Weighing in at just 549 pounds, the Phantom is considerably lighter than most of Harley Davidson's Softail or Dyna offerings, which often creep well above 650 pounds. That weight advantage makes a big difference in how the bike feels day to day. Low-speed turns become less stressful, parking is far easier, and the bike responds more naturally to rider input. It is especially welcoming for new riders or those returning to motorcycling after time away, offering the cruiser feel without the bulk. Seat height comes in at 25.8 inches, which means flat footing at stops is no issue for most riders. That low center of gravity also contributes to the Phantom's stable, planted feel, whether you are weaving through city streets or cruising out to the country. The riding position is classic cruiser. Relaxed handlebars, forward foot controls, and a slightly reclined posture that encourages all-day comfort without putting pressure on your wrist or back. Styling-wise, the Phantom goes for a clean, blacked-out aesthetic with minimal chrome and no flashy extras. This bike looks tough right out of the crate with a stealthy profile that hints at its performance without shouting about it. It is the kind of motorcycle that turns heads without screaming for attention. The design is timeless, a blend of vintage inspiration and modern restraint that appeals to riders who appreciate simplicity and purpose. The suspension setup includes a 41-inch telescopic front fork with 4.6 inches of travel and dual rear shocks with 3.5 inches of travel. While the numbers are modest, the ride is anything but. The suspension is tuned for real-world roads, soaking up bumps and imperfections while maintaining composure. It feels smooth over city potholes and steady on winding rural roads, giving riders the confidence to stay relaxed and focused. Braking is straightforward. Up front, a single 11.6 5-inch disc brake provides strong stopping power with good feel at the lever. In the rear, a drum brake helps keep costs and maintenance low. While drum brakes may not be the latest tech, they are reliable and part of what keeps the Phantom affordable and approachable. And in practice, the bike's braking setup does its job well, with balanced performance and no surprises. Whether it's your first cruiser or your fifth, this is a bike that reminds you why you fell in love with motorcycles in the first place. Now, if you thought this one was smooth, just wait until you see the next bike on the list. Number 4. Yamaha VMax. No cruiser on this list breaks tradition quite like the VMax. This machine doesn't just challenge what a cruiser is, it redefines it. Built for riders who crave raw power and undeniable presence, the VMax isn't here to blend in. It's here to outrun everything else on the road, including the loudest Harley Davidson in the lineup.
Let's start with what matters: performance. The VMax is powered by a liquid-cooled V4 engine displacing 1,679 cubic centimeters. It produces 170 horsepower and 100 pound-feet of torque straight off the showroom floor. That's not just strong for a cruiser, those are numbers that belong in supercar conversations. In fact, this bike can launch from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. That kind of acceleration leaves bikes like the Fat Bob 114, the Street Glide, and even the Road Glide CVO gasping in the rear view. But the VMax isn't just about brute force. It's about refined engineering that makes all that power usable. The chassis features a lightweight aluminum frame designed to balance the bike's mass and keep the handling tight. Even at 683 pounds, the VMax carries its weight low and even, giving it a stable, planted feel in every corner. It behaves like a cruiser when you want it to, and like a performance bike when you push it.
Its suspension system is equally advanced. Up front is a 43-inch fully adjustable inverted fork, while the rear features twin adjustable shocks. Whether you're carving through corners solo or carrying extra weight, the VMax responds with precision. The ride is firm, connected, and composed. No vague feedback or floaty feel. This is one of the rare cruisers that begs to be leaned hard into curves. Braking performance is just as serious. The front wheel is equipped with dual 12.6-inch rotors and radially mounted 6-piston calipers, delivering massive stopping power with excellent feel. Out back, an 11.7-inch disc keeps the rear in check. Something many Harley Davidson models still treat as an optional luxury. On the VMax, it's all part of the package.
Visually, the VMax takes a different road than most cruisers. There's no retro theme, no excessive chrome, and no borrowed nostalgia. Instead, it's all sharp angles, exposed intakes, thick tires, and a muscular stance that screams performance. It looks fast, standing still, and it backs it up every time you roll on the throttle. The rider's position strikes a nice balance between control and comfort. Mid-mounted foot pegs and wide handlebars give the rider a slightly aggressive lean without compromising long-distance comfort. The seat is sculpted to hold you in place under acceleration, which is a good thing because the torque hits hard and fast. Despite its performance stats, the VMax remains remarkably approachable. It's not a twitchy track bike, it's a high-horsepower cruiser that's been engineered for real roads and real riders. And while it delivers numbers that rival Harley Davidson's top-tier custom vehicle operation lineup, it does it all without the heavyweight price tag. You'll often find a VMax for well below $30,000, and without the brand tax that usually comes with this level of performance. So if you're after a bike that punches hard, rides sharp, and stands alone in its class, the VMax is more than just a Harley alternative, it's the reason to ride something different. But maybe you're not chasing acceleration. Maybe you want vintage flair, highway comfort, and the kind of cruiser that rides like a dream.
In that case, the next bike might be exactly what you're after. Number 3. Suzuki Boulevard C50. Nothing captures classic cruiser nostalgia quite like the Boulevard C50 without the steep Harley Davidson price or the extra weight that comes with it. It is a bike that captures the golden era spirit of the American highway, with long fenders, sweeping lines, and plenty of chrome, while delivering the quiet confidence and rock-solid reliability that Japanese engineering is known for. Underneath that timeless styling, the C50 is powered by an 805 cubic centimeter VE twin engine. It produces 53 horsepower and 53 pound-feet of torque, offering a level of performance that is both approachable and surprisingly versatile. This engine strikes a fine balance between smooth cruising and everyday usability, with a throttle response that feels consistent and refined even in colder temperatures or high elevations. And thanks to its fuel-injected design, there are no carburetor quirks to deal with. Just clean, modern power every time you roll on the throttle. One of the most important features that sets this bike apart from both Harley Davidson and other cruisers in its class is the shaft drive. Unlike chain or belt-driven systems, which require frequent cleaning, adjustment, and replacement, the shaft drive on the C50 is fully enclosed and virtually maintenance-free. It delivers smooth power transfer to the rear wheel and makes the riding experience feel even more refined. For riders who prefer to spend their weekends out on the open road instead of in the garage, this is a major selling point.
Weighing in at 611 pounds, the C50 might seem hefty on paper, but it carries its weight low and evenly, making it easier to handle than many cruisers in the same class. The center of gravity is well balanced, helping newer, smaller riders feel more confident during slow-speed maneuvers or city riding. And with a seat height of just 27.6 inches, the C50 is accessible for a wide range of riders, especially those who like to plant both feet firmly at a stop.
Comfort is a high priority on this bike. The front suspension uses a telescopic fork setup that does a great job of soaking up road imperfections, while the rear features a link-type setup designed to keep things plush and stable, even with a passenger on board. Unlike some Harley Davidson models that prioritize aesthetics over comfort, the C50 is tuned with the rider's experience in mind, making it an ideal choice for both short commutes and weekend getaways.
In terms of braking, the C50 combines simplicity and functionality. Up front, it comes equipped with a 12-inch disc brake that provides reliable stopping power in most riding conditions. In the rear, you will find a drum brake, a setup that may seem old school, but it is part of what keeps this bike affordable and easy to maintain. For riders who value simplicity and a connection to the classic cruiser experience, this configuration makes perfect sense. The C50 also offers solid real-world value. While a Harley Davidson Softail Standard can easily climb north of $15,000, the Boulevard C50 can often be found new for well under $11,000, depending on current dealer promotions. That price difference alone could pay for a full riding season of gas, gear, and maintenance. Speaking of reliability, our next pick has the tech and torque to handle anything you throw at it.
Number 2. Honda Rebel 1100.
When it comes to blending modern performance with classic cruiser appeal, few bikes do it better than the Rebel 1100. Designed for riders who want serious power without the extra weight or outdated technology found on many heavyweight cruisers, this machine delivers an entirely new riding experience. Sleek, responsive, and surprisingly refined. Built by Honda, the Rebel brings sharp engineering, smart features, and real-world muscle into a package that's equally at home in city traffic or wide-open back roads. At the heart of the Rebel is a liquid-cooled parallel twin engine with a displacement of 1,100 cubic centimeters. It produces 86 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque, giving it both the off-the-line pull and high-speed roll-on power that cruiser riders demand. This engine, derived from the Africa Twin platform, has been retuned for a deeper, more aggressive feel, optimized for smooth delivery across all 6 gears and plenty of torque across the rev range.
Unlike many cruisers that prioritize tradition over function, the Rebel pushes forward with rider-focused technology. It features 3 distinct ride modes: Standard, Sport, and Rain. Each setting adjusts throttle response, engine braking, and and traction control to match the conditions. Whether you're navigating through the city, rolling through twisty mountain roads, or dealing with wet pavement, the bike adapts instantly, giving you confidence in any environment. One of the most standout features of the Rebel is its available dual-clutch transmission. With this option, you get fully automatic shifting. No clutch lever, no gear changes. Just twist the throttle and go. The shifts are smooth and responsive, making it an excellent option for new riders or daily commuters who want all the power with none of the hassle. Prefer a more traditional setup? A 6-speed manual version is also available, offering the same performance and precision in a format that feels more classic and connected. Weight is another area where the Rebel leaves heavyweight cruisers behind. At just 487 pounds, it's far lighter than most Harley Davidson Softail models, which regularly exceed 600 pounds. That weight savings translates into easier maneuvering at low speeds, quicker handling through turns, and reduced rider fatigue, especially during longer rides. The lower weight also makes the bike more accessible for a wide range of riders, including those who may be new to the cruiser segment.
The ergonomics on the Rebel strike a perfect balance between comfort and control. A seat height of just 27 inches allows most riders to easily reach the ground at a stop, while mid-mounted foot controls and wide handlebars create a relaxed yet confident riding position. It's an ideal layout for both daily rides and weekend escapes, keeping you comfortable without sacrificing control.
Braking is handled by a strong front disc and a rear disc, both equipped with anti-lock braking. The stopping power is progressive and smooth, offering confident performance in both dry and wet conditions without any abruptness or fade under pressure. With a base price just under $10,000, the Rebel offers a level of performance and technology that's tough to find anywhere else in the cruiser market. It costs thousands less than many Harley Davidson models, all while delivering more tech, less weight, and a sharper, more engaging ride.
The Rebel 1100 isn't trying to imitate tradition, it's setting a new standard. Light, powerful, and loaded with smart features, this is what the future of cruisers looks like. Now, if you thought that blend of muscle and tech was impressive, wait until you see the next bike on the list.
Number 1. Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Custom. If you've ever admired the stretched, low-slung stance of a custom chopper but couldn't justify the custom shop price tag, the Vulcan 900 Custom is the cruiser built with you in mind. Designed by Kawasaki with bold attitude and precision engineering, it offers the custom look and cruiser comfort riders want, at a price point that leaves Harley Davidson in the dust. This is not just a budget option, it's a serious contender with real performance, real presence, and real value. At the core of the Vulcan is a liquid-cooled V-twin engine displacing 899 cubic centimeters. It puts down 50 horsepower and 58 pound-feet of torque, delivering exactly what you need for highway cruising, weekend rides, and long stretches of open road. Power comes on smoothly thanks to electronic fuel injection, which gives you crisp throttle response in every gear. It's a reliable, torquey platform that's easy to live with and fun to ride. But what really sets this bike apart is its unmistakable styling. The Vulcan 900 custom channels that factory chopper vibe with a raked front end, slash-cut pipes, spoke wheels, and a low-profile silhouette that looks custom-built right off the showroom floor. It's finished with high-gloss paint, minimalist fenders, and blacked-out details that give it a modern edge without overdoing it. It's aggressive, clean, and unmistakably cool. Practicality isn't sacrificed for style either. The seat height sits at just 27 inches, making it accessible to riders of nearly any height. It's easy to flat-foot at stops, which boosts low-speed control and confidence. Add in a curb weight of 610 pounds and a comfortable, relaxed riding position with forward controls and wide bars, and you've got a cruiser that's perfect for long days in the saddle, without feeling like you're wrestling a heavyweight bike. The belt final drive is another huge win. It offers smooth, quiet operation with virtually zero maintenance compared to chain-driven systems. You don't have to clean it, lube it, or constantly adjust it. Just ride. That low-maintenance design makes the Vulcan a smart buy, especially for riders who want more time on the road and less time in the garage. Ride quality is dialed in for real-world comfort. The front end uses a large diameter fork that handles bumps with ease, while a hidden single-shock setup in the rear keeps the ride plush without sacrificing control. The result is a cruiser that stays composed across rough pavement and through tighter turns, offering a stable, balanced feel from start to stop. Braking duties are handled by a front disc and a rear disc setup that gives the Vulcan solid, predictable stopping power in all conditions. It's a modern system that adds to the bike's all-around usability without driving up the cost. Fuel range is another strong point. A 5.3-gallon tank combined with the efficient V-twin means fewer fuel stops and more time enjoying the ride. Whether you're commuting, cruising, or traveling light, the Vulcan keeps you going longer with less interruption. When it comes to value, the 900 Custom simply dominates. While Harley Davidson's Softail Standard or Sport Glide can easily top $15,000, the Vulcan often comes in well below $10,000 brand new. That's real savings without compromise on performance, comfort, or looks.
Like what you see? Drop your favorite in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more real rider reviews.